So my essay was about societal wants in entertainment and how this has affected the Batman series over the years and how it's evolved. The Batman series has been around since the 60s, so looking at it, how it evolved over the years is a pretty good indicator of what we wanted in entertainment. Batman was once more family oriented and directed towards youth, and now it's more mature, dark. Now it's directed towards adults and young adults. There tends to be more politics and controversial topics in the current Batman movies and in movies in general. And one topic that's prevalent is like the archetype of the anti-hero. This archetype is prevalent in media today, from movies to video games. The anti-hero is where the main character does heroic deeds, but he doesn't really want to. He'd much rather be doing something else, and no one else is there to help him, so he does it anyways. It's an archetype that is relatable with the audience and grounded in reality. I think the best way to explain the archetype of the anti-hero is to show you a clip from Live Free or Die Hard.
That's pretty good back there, kid.
Thanks.
What's the matter with you? Nothing else to complain about?
Just,
What? What's the matter with you?
it's not funny. I'm not like you. I can't do this shit.
I mean, what's that mean? Like what?
I'm not like heroic and everything. I'm not brave like you are. I'm not that guy.
Nobody's hero, kid.
You saved my life like 10 times in the last 6 hours.
Just doing my job, that's all. You know what you get for being a hero? Nothing. Get shot at. Get a little pat on the back, blah, blah, blah. Attaboy. Get divorced. A wife can't remember your last name. Kids don't want to talk to you. Get to eat a lot of meals by yourself. Trust me, kid, nobody wants to be that guy.
Then why are you doing this?
Because there's nobody else to do it right now, that's why. Believe me, if there was somebody else to do it, I would let them do it, but there's not. So we're doing it.
That's what makes you that guy.
I've already showed you some clips from the 60s Batman show starring Adam West, from a time where family-oriented media was more accepted. Now I'll show you Batman the Animated Series from the 90s, still directed towards a young audience, and yet clearly darker than its predecessor. So that was the opening theme from the 90s Batman the Animated Series, clearly darker than the 60s Adam West version. Let's get into the movies. While the movies had a slightly different pattern than the TV series, they had the same fate. The 90s animated series saw much success compared to its predecessor, and the 90s Batman movies saw much less success than its predecessor, for the same reason. The 90s Batman movies tried to appeal to young audiences, unlike the successful Tim Burton Batman movies in the 80s. Let's see some clips from the Tim Burton 80s movies and then the 90s movies, directed by Joey Sharmer. You won't watch the entire clip, but you get the idea very quickly. The Tim Burton 80s movies has a very realistic and dark tone. Let's compare this to the 90s Joey Sharmer movies.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Ten Below.
Sing,
Friends
sing!
call me Snow Miser. Whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch.
Come on, sing! Louder, come on, sing, sing, sing! Come on! Yes, come on, louder!
There's a very obvious stark contrast between the two movies. Batman and Robin, the clip just shown, is considered to be one of the worst movies of all time. This next scene is perhaps the most hated Batman scene from fans of the series.
I bid $50,000 for Poison Ivy.
100,000. And I'm in $500,000.
$1 million.
$2 million.
You don't have it. $3 million.
I'll borrow it from you. $4 million.
$5 million.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. $6 million.
$7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
This scene in itself is perhaps what caused the 10-year hiatus of anything Batman. It won't be until 2005 that Christopher Nolan directs Batman Begins, returning to the dark, realistic style loved by audiences. Another topic prevalent in modern successful movies is politics. The Dark Knight Rises had very obvious themes about topics such as income inequality and corruption. Let's take a look at this quick speech from Bane.
Corrupt! The rich! The oppressors of generations who have kept you down with myths of opportunity. And we give it back to you. The people. Gotham is yours. None shall interfere. Do as you please.
These topics tend to be critical of aspects of Western society, topics such as capitalism, income inequality, and in the movie Avatar, environmentalism and imperialism, and yet it did not hurt the success of these movies. Are we perhaps more open and self-critical than we once were as a society? So, in conclusion, society has leaned towards more darker, realistic, and political themes than ever before. When Batman producers tried to stray from this, they faced backlash from audiences and in the box office. When they returned, they were more successful from fans and critics alike. This is a reflection of our society in general. There are many more examples showing this, but since Batman has been around since the 60s, watching its evolution is a good way of supporting this.